Hey guys, thought I would check in. I'm in the middle of shooting and reshooting the same thing over and over. Since I've been gone, a bunch of cool things have happened in the world of synth news. Just thought I'd kind of maybe check in. And so Korg dropped this, and that image leaked, apparently. There was some debate as to whether or not it was a TTSH or what. A lot of us that had been paying attention earlier in the year when the Guitar Center leak happened, showing off what was one of these guys miniaturized. I can tell you, if you enhance this image, you can see that it doesn't say TTSH. That is a ARP logo, so it's definitely a Korg issued ARP 2600 Mini. There's been some talk on some of the other channels and on the forums as to whether or not we're going to see pricing that is, I hate saying reasonable and I hate saying inexpensive because it's all relative, but I can tell you right now, pretty with some pretty good accuracy, that it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500 to maybe $2,200. And if you're asking yourself, where am I pulling this number from? Do I have inside information? No, not really. I wish I did. Korg. I got this guy, and I have a TTSH, so maybe you want me to shoot a video comparing the three. But anyways, no, I don't have any insider information. I'm just looking at Korg's track record. Korg hasn't been fazed by anything Behringer's done, or frankly any of their other competition. If you take a look at the pricing scheme of the MS-20 Mini versus the MS-20 kit that they put out, and then finally the MS-20 full size that I think is out, but nobody's said anything on any of the channels. I haven't seen any reviews, so maybe it's not out yet, but they did announce at NAMM this year they were going to have a white, blue, green, and black full size. But anyways, if you look at the pricing structure on that, I'll put the math up right here, but it's like a multiplier of around 2x. I think like 1.8 to 2.2. The same thing can be seen in the ARP Odyssey released by Korg. The mini version was $800, allegedly because they paid some kind of licensing deal. Then when they released the full-size version, that was $1,600, so again about 2x pricing multiplier. Again, I'll put the math on the actual breakdown, but they don't really seem to care that the Behringer Odyssey came out at a striking lower price with more features. It didn't make them budge on pricing at all. Korg definitely is a Japanese company in the sense of they march to their own drum. They don't really, I don't want to say they don't listen to feedback at all. A lot of Japanese companies tend to have a business model where they believe that they lead the market. So they essentially think of things that you want before you know you want it. That kind of ideology. And it works out for a lot of companies, and it's worked out for Korg. So yeah, keep an eye out. As of this moment at 5 a.m., they haven't announced the 2600 Mini. They did officially break silence on the SQ40, which is a interesting SQ40, SQ80. Anyways, SQ64. It's a 64-step sequencer. It's got a lot of analog CV outs, and it's got MIDI outs. It looks pretty cool. I don't know, for me personally, if I'm going to go external sequencer, I like knobs, you know, to control the CV, but that's me personally. I know a lot of people that do amazing things and they don't use a computer at all for sequencing, so they're probably going to love it. I've got like the Arturia Beat Step Pro. Thought it was cool for seconds, but given the fact that it's got endless rotary encoders, it just wasn't my jam. Anyways, the next thing that happened, oh yeah, Nine Inch Nails was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, along with Depeche Mode. Two of my biggest influences, heroes. So seeing them inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is interesting. Makes me feel old. Makes me wonder about certain things. When, you know, you kind of grow up listening to these bands and you maybe think of yourself as an outsider, and then those outsiders are now rock and roll legends. So congratulations to Nine Inch Nails and Depeche Mode on being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I watched the HBO special. It's pretty interesting. I didn't really learn anything, but it was cool seeing, you know, people like David Fincher talk endlessly about his admiration for Reznor, and Iggy Pop, and a number of other folks. Interesting choice having Charlize Theron induct Depeche Mode, but hey, I guess it works. What else happened? Oh yeah, I got both of these guys, and there's going to be some pretty extensive content around the Prophet 5 Rev 4, and I'm gonna shoot a Prophet 5 Rev 4 versus a Prophet 6, and this time it won't be rushed. I will start off with the John Bowen presets. I have just plugged this guy in tonight. I just finished shooting the unboxing, and I did an A/B on those presets, and I think, you know, just like the other video, you don't need to spend the money that it costs to get one of these guys if you're looking for the Prophet 5 sound. You won't necessarily get the same characteristics one-to-one, side-to-side, but if the two are running a race, they might have different running styles, but they'll both get to the finishing line. There's been a lot of talk in the comments on my last video. A lot of people believe that the Prophet 6 and the Prophet 5 sound entirely different, and I can tell you for a fact, they don't. They are different synths, and again, they do have their own character, but as far as being able to get that classic 80s John Carpenter or Brad Fiedel 80s horror soundtrack sound, or, you know, 80s synth sound, you can get there in the Prophet 6. And I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from buying a Prophet 5. If you can get a Prophet 5, by all means, definitely do it. I did, because I'm a hypocrite. No, I'm kidding. I did because, you know, it's been a dream of mine to own a Prophet 5 that's stable, have a little piece of something that has that legacy. I get a special, unwarranted feeling when I am touching a synth that was used on things that I grew up on. It's not necessary, but I also do like additional resolution, and bigger knobs aren't just a like aesthetic thing. That sounds so bad. The bigger the knob, the greater the turning radius, and that means you have a bit more resolution and detail. I'm not saying that you can't get the same sounds, because I clearly am arguing for the Prophet 6, but there's something different about it. However, if you're just looking for the sound, you don't need to spend that kind of money. Moving on. What else happened? Ableton Live 11 was announced, what was it, last week. I've seen some various talk on a lot of the forums that I frequent. And a lot of people seem to think that Ableton 11 isn't really a new iteration, i.e., why couldn't they have just made it an Ableton 10 update? And the reason for that is factually it could not have come in Ableton 10 because they had to rewrite their MIDI engine. You can't implement MPE without rewriting the MIDI engine. There are tricks and ways to work around it, but if you're talking about it being part of the framework of how the engine runs, they had to scrap their old engine. It's most definitely a worthy successor. The other thing, comp takes are something that I have been wanting forever in Ableton. And a lot of people that are longtime Ableton users that have not worked in, say, Pro Tools and haven't really messed with comp takes might be thinking, hey, what do I need to do a comp take for? I'm not doing pop. I don't need the perfect vocal performance. I'm not tracking guitars, so I don't, need the most finite perfect take. I'm not doing drums, yada, yada, yada. If you use modular synths, or if you do long takes with synths, i.e. like live, tracking, and you track a part over and over and over and over and over, it's a game changer to be able to just hit loop and mess with modulations, mess with phrasing and timing. And yeah, it's probably not as useful if you just sequence an 8-bar loop of your synth and that's how you track your synth. But if you do live takes and you're really into tweaking and knob twiddling while having a loop going, or like I said, doing a live performance, it's game changing. So comp takes for Ableton users who are not using the other DAWs and aren't familiar with the power of comp takes, it's truly phenomenal. I did a part in a track here that is essentially a swarmatron, and with a swarmatron you don't have notes. Like, you have a strip and it's a ribbon controlled synth and you get the pitch that you get. So to be able to do a part like that in that last track that I played, I couldn't really have done that without comp takes. The next big thing is for Rolly users, Equator 2 was announced, I guess last week. I just heard about it today. It looks to be a pretty big deal. If you're a Rolly user, or if you're not an MPE user, Equator 2 is now just a VST that you can use with any controller. And they have a lot of great sounds in Equator 1. I'll be downloading Equator 2 this week, and I'll probably do some kind of video about it. If you are a Rolly user, or you already have Equator 1 for some reason and you're not a Rolly user, they're doing a limited time upgrade to Equator 2 for $99. So if you're seeing this video and you're a Rolly user, probably go check that out, because it's supposed to be a limited time price. There's probably some other things that happened in the last couple of weeks in synth news. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap this super long play video up, and keep an eye out for an unboxing if you like to watch strangers open things. There's gonna be a bunch of things with these two guys in the very near future. So hope everything's going well with you, and if you hated this video, do me a favor, go subscribe to that guy. Or even if you like this video, go subscribe to this guy, because this guy does good videos. He does great work. In fact, he just put out an OP6 video, and every Thursday, well, I think every Thursday, it seems like lately every Thursday he does a live stream. So yeah, go check him out. And other than that, don't subscribe unless you want to see, content with this. if you want to see a good YouTuber, check him out. Anyways, bye.
YouTube, I wish you could smell what I'm smelling.
Are you still here? Go check him out. Bye.